Hello Facebook. So today I wanted to do a quick video. It is Thursday, the 1st of August. I wanted to do a quick video about rentals. I wanted to do a video about what it means to list a rental and what it means to find a rental. So there's a couple key points that I keep coming across. I will put an official video up about what it takes to get a rental and what it takes to list a rental, but here are just some quick tips and some things that keep coming up when I'm helping people either list their rental or I'm helping a client, a tenant, find a place to rent for some of those people that, either come from a different state, nationally. I have a lot of people that come from Washington. I have some clients coming in from California. And, even though they might be financially in the point where they can buy a home, maybe they're not interested in buying a home yet because they want to first explore some areas, which is totally great, totally fine. So the first thing is, let's talk about renting a property. So when you rent a property, the real estate market in kind of a GIF is basically 50-50. You have 50% of rentals that are being listed by owners, being listed by people that actually own those homes, landlords who basically just put a sign in the yard. Zillow, not a sponsored ad, but Zillow has made it very easy basically for you to create an account and to list your rental. And another, I would say maybe 40% of rentals are also listed by property management companies. Property management companies are hired for a 6 to 10%, maybe 15% even, maybe even 3% to basically list these rentals. And these rentals are listed. These property management companies have their own contracts, they have their own rules, they have their own fees, and they take care of, basically the landlord says, hey, I don't have enough time to answer 80 phone calls about who wants to rent my place. I want you guys to do a background check, application check, and they hand it off to a property management company. And another maybe 10%, maybe obviously a little bit more, landlords hire realtors. This is not a big, sorry, got a call right in the middle, but this is not like a very big thing, just because of the way that technology is progressing. Landlords ask a realtor to list their rental on all, social medias, on all websites, and also they ask, to put it on MLS for a small fee. So basically, when you list a rental, you put the price, and the real estate agent, they can only go as far as advertising. The real estate agent cannot, Zillow, for example, for some premier agents, allows us to do like a background check. They allow us to do an application check, all for a small fee, I believe, of $29. So there's that option that a real estate agent has, but we cannot, do property management functions. So, our main job as a real estate agent when it comes to listing a rental, the most that we can do is we can just post, and advertise and find you a tenant. But after that, either yourself or you would have to hire a property management company to collect rent, to just keep track, to watch the property. That is all property management duties. So here I'm kind of looking down. As you can see, I have a residential rental contract in my hand. Now these, unlike residential, offer to purchases, are even more general. It's just got the typical, your name, obligations, and property management companies, again, they have their own forms, they have their own contracts. Landlords can reach out to realtors, and we have just a general form that we go by, just a rental agreement, basically, stating some important things. For example, a big thing that keeps coming up when it comes to rentals is terminations, whether that's termination by the tenant or termination by the landlord. So I like to keep the number 30 in mind. Again, everybody has their own number, but basically, here in North Carolina, it's just all about giving notice and giving notice in writing, whether that is on a napkin or on an official contract. So if the landlord decides, I need to sell this, or they say, this isn't working out for me, I don't like you as a tenant, they just have to give 30 to 60 to 90 days notice to the actual tenant, whatever is written on this contract. So that's why it's important that, God forbid one day the tenant or the landlord go crazy. This right here is going to protect you. So those moments need to be very clear in the contract. Here it also talks about tenant obligations and landlord obligations. So landlords, for the future, how I've come across landlords, that is no longer your house. It is not a house where your kids grew up in. It's not the house where all your memories were made, where you lived 7 years. No, it's real estate. It's a piece of property, and you cannot be emotional about it, especially to landlords who are managing their own properties. That's why some people hire property management companies, because they just don't want to deal with that stress. But that's something that it's really important that you take all emotions out of it, and you realize that this is an asset of mine, and this is my real estate that I'm renting out to somebody, because landlord, that is still ultimately their property, so they have every right to, go in for inspections, to go in, just to look at the place, make sure everything's in order, of course, with the proper notice. And for the tenant as well, they have to take care of the property, and they have to make sure they're maintaining it as if it's their own. Some tenants are amazing, they keep it clean, they cut the grass, and then there are some tenants where they could care less. It's not my house, I don't care, and that's why it's important to do a very close screening of who you're letting into your house. Another thing that that is clearly stated here is who is paying what. So 9 times out of 10, the tenant will pay for all water bills, sewer bills, all of that. And some neighborhoods or some condos or townhomes, they have an HOA, which again is 50-50. Sometimes the tenant will pay an HOA fee on top of the rental, rent, or sometimes the landlord's like, you know what, I'm going to charge you $1,500 a month for rent, and I'll just pay the HOA fee. Another thing that's important is that some people might do is, somebody has a rental property, and when they have that rental property, you need to make sure that you find out from your landlord if you can assign your rent to somebody else. For example, if if this is your primary residence, and let's say you're gone for 3 months at a time, and you want to take this contract and you want to assign it to your brother to take care of, that's something that needs to be clearly stated. There's been a lot of issues with that, where just, uninvited guests or family members decide that, everyone wants to just pile into the house. That's something you have to make sure is okay with your landlord. And then another thing is just making it clear when payment is due. It's some way to a tip on how to avoid any late fees or whatnot, and enable a late fee. If they, you can give them grace 2-3 days, but a check is due at the first of the month, no later or sooner than that. And you need to employ in the contract maybe like a $20 to $50 fee if they are going to be late. And especially to those landlords that are managing their houses on their own, you have to be strict with that. It's not emotional. It's a piece of real estate. It's your cash flow. It is your asset. So again, that's just some quick tips of what it's like to, rent a property or to list your rental. I know the market is kind of shifting, and everybody's a Chip and Joanna Gaines. Everyone wants to fix and flip. Everybody wants to invest in real estate. Everybody wants to have cash flow. There's so many books, there's so many resources, so many YouTube videos. You want to make sure that you do it right, because again, Charlotte is a great market. It's really growing. And, the beauty of investors is that investors, these people that have the, and again, guys, you don't need $50,000, $70,000 cash to buy a piece of property, rent it out, and, and then get cash flow. Like that's not the case. I mean, yes, you need 20%, but who's telling you to go buy a $300,000 rental? No. What I always suggest to the people who ask me about rentals is, start with something small. Always start with small and then go from there, because, you want to make sure that you have, enough money saved on the side, because, stuff happens. It's a house. Something can break, the HVAC can go out, something can catch on fire. And that is another very, very important thing that, you cannot forget is renter's insurance. Now, that is something you need to talk to your local insurance agent too, but do not forget renter's insurance. And landlords, that is something you want to be very strict with, because we cannot control everything in this world. We cannot control disasters, and accidents happen, so you need to make sure that you are safe and that you are insured. And again, just to kind of end this, just if you want to know what's going on in Charlotte's market, it's kind of 50-50. You have landlords who employ property management. That's becoming a much popular trend. There's, just over the last 5 years, the amount of property management companies has increased dramatically. And then 50% are listed by realtors. Ultimately, a realtor likes to buy and sell houses, but they do also have these resources to do that as well. And also, employ Zillow, employ OfferPad. There's just the amount of technology that we have and how fast everything is moving is just incredible. Technology allows so many buyers and tenants to just find homes all on their own. So those were just a quick couple of tips on listing a rental and how to find a rental. And another very important thing is something that's becoming more and more strict is when, for my international clients, for all of my Russian clients, international clients, whether you're coming from Russia, from China, очень важно, чтобы вы знали, что в Америке, особенно когда сдается в аренду с property management компанией, они обязательно будут требовать social security number, credit report, maybe a criminal background check. So для тех русских, у кого, естественно, это нету, которые буквально здесь неделю, месяц, полгода, которые еще не создал это все, ваши варианты намного меньше. Но хорошо, что, естественно, в нашем русском комьюнити есть очень много своих, которые сдают своим, но просто, чтобы вы знали наперед, что если вы хотите брать что-то в аренду, и оно сдается с компанией какой-то, или даже с риэлтором, многие люди делают credit report. Again, to translate for someone who's not Russian, if you are trying to get a rental and it's being done by a property management company or even a realtor, or even a lot of landlords now are asking for criminal background checks, they're asking for credit reports, they're asking for income statements, they're asking for social securities, because when it comes to money, you can't be too safe. So if you have any questions about rentals, please comment below. My specialty is commercial leasing, but I have some amazing colleagues, and I myself sometimes have some investment properties available. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And it is August, guys. We're eight months out of 12. We're like almost done. Summer's almost over. School's about to finish. So I hope all of you have a great day.